Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Destiny from Desphixs and welcome back to another video in the e-commerce project using Django. In this one, we'll get started working with templates inheritance in Django. That is what we'll be doing. Hopefully you will enjoy the video and learn something new. So I've got a lot of useful links in the description below. Do make sure to check them out. So let's get started. The very first thing I will do will be to open up my code editor, and I will start off by running my server by running python manage.py run server. So as soon as I run my server, we can still see this py.env error over here, or some sort of warning. Let me open up my .env file, and I want you to remove all this. Either you remove them or you make sure that the comment starts with an hash. Okay, so either you make sure the comment starts with an hash instead of HTML comments, or you could just totally remove them. Since I won't be needing them anymore, I will remove them for myself. But if you want to keep them, make sure that the comment instead of this starts with a hash. Okay, so for me, I will just remove them all like that. Break up from my server and run it again, and let's see if that happens still. All right, there you go. Can you see that error has now been fixed? So let's continue with the template inheritance. Now, if you followed along with the first tutorial, which is the demo tutorial, then you should already know that there will be raw templates and also completed templates. And if you want to get the raw templates, please use the link in the description below. And you can see over here, I already have it in my project. I renamed it to Z raw templates. And the reason why I renamed it to Z raw templates is so that it would be the last one over here in my file. So Z, basically all these are ordered alphabetically. So I just added the Z at the back so that it will be the last one over here, right? So if you have the raw template, I think it should be called e-commerce front-end templates. If you go ahead and open it up, it should look exactly like this. And if for any reason I make any change, I will make sure to update the templates for you guys so that you follow along with the tutorial seamlessly without encountering any issues. So if you have all this, that's basically what we want. Let's start setting this up. I will close up all this and open up my views py for the store. And you can see that over here, I have this very basic view that pretty much returns a HTTP response to our browser that says hello world. But instead of doing this, I want to instead return a template where I can write HTML codes that will be rendered. So hopefully you know that over here, you can still come down here and write your HTML codes here as usual, and it will still work perfectly well. But does it really make sense that we write our HTML codes down here? I don't think so. So that is when working with templates actually comes in very handy. So instead of writing our HTML codes in here, we will write it in a template and basically link that template over here and tell this view, hey, whenever you are called and a template is passed to you, make sure that you display the template, or make sure that you display every code that has been written in the template. In this case, HTML and CSS codes, right? So I will go ahead now and open up my browser. I am using Brave. You could use whatever browser you want. You could use Chrome or Mozilla or Edge. And what I want to do now is basically come over to the port 8000, which is this one over here. And if we are going to be displaying templates, what you want to do is import render. And instead of this, you want to say return render. And this render function over here takes in a couple of parameters. The very first thing that it needs is the name of your template. Okay, so to pass in the name of our template, or rather, you can see that if I hover on it, you can see that the first thing it requires here is the request. And it needs the name of the template. And in some cases, you can pass in a context dictionary. You could also pass in context type or status. But what I need now is requests and templates name. And as we proceed, we'll work with the context. So for the requests, basically what you want to do is just pass in requests like this. For the templates name, you want to pass in the actual parts of the template. In this case, the template will be stored in a file or a folder called store/index.html. So this is just what I want. So let's get down to the templates folder here, open it up, create a new folder called store. And in the store, I want you to create a new folder called index.html. As simple as that. And then this is where you write your HTML code. Hello world from index.html. Very good. So now let's run this again and see what we have. I'll reload this page. There you go. Hello world from index.html. So that is basically it. You can see what we have. Now, the next thing would be to get started with populating this page here with all the necessary files, or rather the necessary codes that we will be needing, because we won't be working with just bare HTML. We need some styling, we need some JavaScript to actually make things look good. So that is everything that we will be doing. Now, I'm going to remove this and I'm going to open up the 0 templates and grab the index HTML from here. Just copy everything that we have over here, and I want you to put it in your own store index HTML. I hope this makes sense. So now I'm copying from the raw template which I have provided for you guys and pasting in my own HTML templates. So if you open up my browser again and reload this page, you should now see this. So this error pretty much shows up because we need to load Django here. So at the top, load static, load Django static. Okay. So this now will enable us to actually use the static tag in Django to basically do things like link to our static files or link to our media files. Don't worry, I will show you all this. Then we get back here and reload. Now it says store is not a registered namespace. Okay, this makes sense. And if you're getting this error, please, this is what you need to do. For some reason, I must have missed out changing or removing the store shop, which is this one. So remove this, okay? Change it to a slash. And let me see, I think I also have the same thing here. Change it to a slash. All right, there you go. Can you see after changing that to removing all the Django related tags there, I was actually supposed to remove that. It's just an oversight, okay? So bear with me on that. Now, if you remove that, this is what you should now have over here. I know it doesn't really look good, but don't worry, when we're adding the CSS and the bootstrap and every other thing that we will be using, it will make more sense and look better. So with this now, I will get back to my code, and I think it will make sense for us to bring in the CSS. So come over to the Z raw templates, come over to assets, and I want you to right click and click on copy for the assets. And then I want you to come over to your static folder here, right click and paste. Very good. So after pasting this now, I want you to get back to your index HTML, and instead of linking the CSS like this, remove all these ones here, and I want you to wrap it using the Django static tag. So you open up, okay, let me write this out so everyone can see. Open up 2 curly braces, and then open up 2 percentage sign in there. And in between these 2 percentage sign, I will put in the static keyword, and in a string, I will paste in the path to the CSS file. As simple as that. So let's try this out again. Reload this page. Now there you go. Everything is beginning to come in perfectly well. So I will automatically pass in the static to all the asset files. And to do that, I want you to use a package called auto Django. So I'll hit Ctrl+Shift+P on my keyboard. And there is this package called auto Django that was created by Code with Tommy. And it's a really nice package. It has actually saved me a lot of time when trying to configure static files and passing the static tag to basically all the static files. Okay, so go ahead, install this package. It's called auto Django. If you don't want to install it, you can still manually do this, but I would highly recommend you do, because yeah, it's going to save us a lot of time. So click on the auto Django and boom, just like that, it does this for us. So you don't even have to do it again. If you scroll all the way to the bottom to the JavaScript, you can see it did it for us. So this is a very, very nice and smart package, and I really make good use of it. So now when you get down here and reload, everything should be okay. Everything should work fine. But this image here seems not to open up. So I quickly paused the video and updated the template to include this image because it seems to be missing. And now when you reload this page, it should come in perfectly well. Okay. So all I did was, in fact, you don't need to bother about this because if you have the templates, you will have all the images over here. So you can see that I have this image called, let me look for it. Just hold on. Home Hero JPG. So that is it. Don't worry, if you get the templates, all these assets will be packed in for you. So guys, this is basically everything that we want to do, but there's still a flaw in this. So based on the fact that we will have multiple pages, if not over 30 unique pages for this project, it wouldn't really make sense that for each and every one of the page that we are copying a particular folder or a particular set of code that is basically repeating itself. So we need to apply the DRY method, which basically stands for don't repeat yourself, whereby you can see that for all the pages like the sign in, the sign up, the cart, this header is going to be repeating for each and every one of them. Also, this footer is going to be repeating for each and every one of them. So it really makes sense for us to take this header and take this footer and put it in one place. And whenever we need them, we just call them from that place. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, you can close up your static folder. I don't need that anymore. Now, in your templates folder, create a new folder called partials. And in the partials folder, create a new file called base.html. Please do not forget that. Base.html. Very good. So now I want you to take everything that's in your index, take everything from the index HTML and paste it in the base HTML. I hope you're following. Now, if you get back to your site and reload, nothing should show up here. Blank page. So now what we want to do is look for the codes that repeat themselves and leave them in the base, and look for the code that does not repeat themselves and take them to whatever templates that we'll be using, in this case, index. So let me reiterate, the codes that will be repeating themselves, like the header and the footer, we want to leave them in the base.html, and the codes that will not be repeating themselves, like the sections, the products list, we want to take them and put them in the index.html. So how do we do this? Let's start off by looking for the header. I can immediately see a nav tag over here. I will minimize this, and it seems like my header ended here, right? And my section started from here. Very good. So let me go ahead and start collapsing the sections till I get to the footer section. Oh, there you go. And you could immediately see that now I have gotten to the footer. So this is my header. This is my footer. That means all those codes here will not be repeating themselves, right? What do I need to do? Cut them out, get back to my index.html, paste them here. Simple, right? You could also save this code so it formats everything for you. Now back to the base HTML, we need to actually do something that is called inheritance in Django, basically template inheritance. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell Django, hey Django, whenever any documents like this index is wrapped with the base HTML, display whatever that's in the base HTML onto the sub templates, in this case index. Okay, so to better explain this, I will comment out all those code. I don't think it's going to comment. Yeah, I know it's going to show an error. So you could even just cut out the code. Okay, and I want you to create a block content here, and in this block content I want you to create a h1 and say hi or hello world, anything that you want to put down here. Hello world. Okay, now if you get back to your browser and reload, you can only see hello world showing up, right? Good. How about we don't have any of this? You can see that nothing is going to show up, right? Good. So now if you come over to your base HTML And just here, remember that this is where we removed those codes from. Over here, I have my footer, and over here, I have my header ends, right? So my footer starts exactly here, and my header ends here. So now, in between the end of my header and the start of my footer, I want to create something called a block content. So this block content here gives this empty space here. Whenever you create this block content in another file like this, whatever you pass in here is what will automatically get injected into this place. Okay, but this time around it won't be written here. You have to start extending it from different templates. I hope this makes sense. If this doesn't make sense, I'll look for simpler words that I will use as we proceed. So with this now, if you get down here and you say hello world, let me put my H1 and say, in fact, without doing anything here, let me show you. If you just call the block content without passing in anything and reload, okay, let's see what's going on. This is block content. Okay, I missed the extend. Okay, please make sure that you're extending from partials / and the file is called base.html. So this means I've basically imported everything over here into this place, right? And now when we reload this, there you go. Can you see only the header and only the footer shows up? As simple as that. Now in any new page, all you need to do is import the base.html, create these two block contents that are here, whatever you call them. If you call this block page and end block page, make sure that over here you're calling this block page and end block page, and it should still work perfectly well for you. Okay, then over here is where you need to add your template. So you can then say hello world, and when you reload, see hello world. Makes sense, right? But I want to change this back to content just to stick to naming convention. Okay, but I just changed it to page to tell you that you could call it whatever you want. You could even call it hello. You could even say block Uncle Bobby, and it's still going to work very well. But for now, I'm sticking to content. Very good. Remember the code that I cut initially? I think I've missed it. I don't have it in my clipboard anymore, which means I need to come over to my 0 templates and open up my index.html again. And then I need to grab this, grab this tree, get back to my index store, and instead of hello world, I will just paste this one down here and save my code. And I also want to import load static. Please do not miss that. Load static. Very good. So you can see all this have been aligned on one line. That is because I am using a package called Prettier. And if you don't want to make use of Prettier, you could go ahead and disable it so that it doesn't format your pages for you. Okay. So when you get down here and reload this page, all right, we seem to be getting this issue. This issue basically means that this over here should be the very first thing in the templates, but instead we passed the load static, which does not satisfy it. So now that I have changed it, when you get back here and reload, all right, I'm still getting this store shop issue. That is because, remember, I missed out what I copied from my clipboard then, and I had to recopy this page, this raw templates that still had that store. Remember? So that's why I got the same issue again. I will just change it to a hash and I should be good to go. So now when you reload, there you go. So everything is working perfectly well. Templates are being inherited, and I think this really makes a lot of sense to me right now. Okay. So if you want to take this a step further, you could go ahead and import all the carts, checkouts, order tracker, payment status, product detail into the templates store folder. But I don't want to do this right now. That is because I want you guys to actually follow step by step so that we don't have any, confusions or introduce complexities that might actually keep you wondering, how did I do this? How did I do that? What's going on? Oh, I'm confused. So let's take this step by step. Okay. So now you can see that the template has been successfully installed. That is everything that we want to do. So I believe, should I end off the video here or should we make other ones? And one of the reasons why I actually put the video in separate sections are for those that would actually want to particularly search for, hey, how can I do template inheritance in Django? You know, if it's a full 2 hours or 3 hours video, you might actually find it difficult scrolling or browsing through the video to find out what you're looking for. But if you break it into sections like this, it makes it easy for you to actually say, okay, I'm looking for how to work with template inheritance in Django. Boom, there you go. Here's the video. And also another thing that it does is that it also gives you the space to work on other things. So let's say that every day you are working, you have 2 hours every day to learn Django or Python, and we're releasing this course once every 2 days. By the way, in the future, I don't know, maybe in the coming weeks, I'll start releasing one every day. So let's say you have today 2 hours to learn Django every day, and we're releasing this once every 2 days. It actually give you the space to reflect on what you learned in the last video, to practice what you learned before we release the new one. Okay, but let me know what you guys want. If you want it to be a full video, it's gonna take a lot of time. It might take the next month or maybe 2 months before you see the long video come out. But if I'm gonna be making it and releasing it like this for you guys, you can actually see one every 2 days. With time, you can actually start releasing one every day. Okay, so that is basically why I break the videos into sections and parts for you guys. That is going to be it. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Consider dropping a like on the video, subscribing, as it really mean the world to me. And I also want you to check out some of the links in the description below. One of the links there would actually help you become a better Python Django developer. I've got a couple of courses there that you could go through. And also, just like I told you guys, I am building a tool that will help us get better at programming with a lot of fun features, ranging from coding challenges to tutorial steps to practical Q&As to interview preps to a lot of smaller features like learning streak and many more. So in the upcoming months, this will start rolling out and you guys will see. So I want you to head over to desphixs.io. Let me show you guys. So head over to desphixs.io and you could provide us with a valid email address that we could use to notify you as soon as we are live, so that you will be the first in line when we launch this. Okay. Also, if you're looking to get the source code, there are a lot of links in the description below that have made it clear for you guys to be able to get the source code. That is going to be it. I hope to see you in the next video. And until then, mad love. Peace out.